Hey, welcome back to SlydeBytes. Apologize for an extended playing intro there, but we are just having a good time with the new Lite BT over my shoulder and the Kramer Focus VT211S in double drop D. I haven't played this in a while, I needed to break it out. If you're not familiar with the channel, then welcome to SlydeBytes. This is a budget guitar and gear review channel. All the gear you see on this channel is provided myself for gifts from family and friends, things like that. No one is providing me equipment or sponsoring the channel. It is just me. This is my passion, is guitar and music, and yeah, I just want to share some stuff with you because I have a lot of guitar gear. So anyway, so if you watched last week's video, if you caught the video last week, we compared sort of a little bit between the Positive Grid Spark Go right here, this one, and the new Lite BT right here, the Mark 1. Now I don't have the Mark 2. The Mark 2 is expanded, more feature set, can do bass and guitar, has acoustic simulation. This one, the Positive Grid Spark Go handles acoustic, bass, and guitar. The new X is a 3-watt amplifier with a 3-inch speaker, and same for the newer version to my knowledge. And the Positive Grid is a 5-watt amplifier with a 2-inch speaker. So that is something just to go ahead and put out there. Price-wise, these are both running, you can get the Positive Grid anywhere from $100 to $130. What I've seen, new X usually runs, $100, somewhere in that price range, maybe a little more, a little less, give or take, depending on the current promotion. So yeah, from that point, from last week, what we were kind of looking at were my custom presets, my own tones, things I use saved. We were using those this week again, only this time I actually had my ambience on, which on the Mark 1 would be your delays, reverb, stuff like that, for the new X, and that's what we were, again, playing through in the intro. But if you want, we can go ahead and switch over, and we'll do the same thing real quick on the Positive Grid Spark Go, just so you can hear that. So there you go, there's a little tonal comparison just to talk about from the get-go on these. So let's go ahead, and since you've now heard both of these amps, let's go ahead and just talk about them real quick. I'm going to go ahead and just power them off for now, because now that you've heard them, and if you really are more curious about it, again, both of those just had my own effects that I built into them and everything. These were my own custom channels. Last week, the full tone demo didn't have any effects. So anyway, so just so you have all that in your head now for what you've heard, you can listen to the intro and now listen to that, so you'll have both comparisons and they'll be time-stamped. below, so you can go back and forth and listen to them a little bit just here. Again, these are random custom presets. Some people probably make them sound more similar, more less similar, and all that, but it's more or less just so you can hear how the speakers are handling things, how loud they can get. The new X wasn't anywhere near max volume in either video. I just had the positive grid at max volume. I had to turn it down just a little bit because it was getting a little loud and a little crackly. I will say the new X overall handles louder volumes, I think, a lot better than the Positive Grid Spark Go. I like the interface for the Spark Grid Go better on the app. Now, I will say the new X and even Blackstar and pretty much everyone now has a better, like a new app function that is pretty good, in my opinion. I think it's kind of hard to compare that now. We're getting to the point where I think I just saw on, I can go here in Amazon real quick and pull that back up. So on the Positive Grid, you have several different effects you can lay out, like in a pedal chain on the app, versus the new X. Now, this one doesn't really have that. You only have just a few little blocks to flip back and forth through. But this one has 7 effect blocks: gate, FX, amp, IR, mod, delay, and reverb. So, I mean, we're getting closer and closer to each other all the time. And again, I will say this format doesn't really have a whole lot of controls on the outside to control anything. You can get backing tracks and everything for both of these and play that way. I will say the new X already has a full control panel. The Blackstar Fly 3 does also have a full control panel. But I will say, too, this is a much more portable device and much easier to take around with you, the Positive Grid Spark Go, that is, versus these, which are a little bigger, a little clunkier, actually quite a bit bigger than, we're talking probably 2-3 times the size of the Positive Grid Spark Go, if you can see there. Like they're just bigger. So Spark Go is just easier to deal with in a lot of ways. It is rechargeable. I don't know if the Blackstar Fly series has any rechargeable versions off the top of my head. I do know that the new X either runs off of a power supply or it takes 6 AA batteries. Which battery life on the new X is not very great. It is really great on the Blackstar stuff, but we're mainly focusing on these two. If you want to ask me which one I prefer, that's a tough question, because I think I use them, honestly, I do use them both, but I think the way I use them is really indicative of their size more than their tones, because I use the new X as a nightstand amplifier. It sits on the nightstand. I use the mains, power supply, or however you want to call it. I use that, I plug it in, and I just play. I have my little 3 presets in there. I can swap between those really fast. I've recorded a lot of stuff for like my Instagram and my TikTok. Mainly my Instagram. I don't know if I have anything on TikTok quite yet from it, but anyway, I've recorded a lot of little music and guitar riffs for my original music stuff over using the new X. It's easy enough to do. And I've actually done a little bit of that demoing on TikTok and Instagram as well with the Positive Grid Spark Go. They're handy for that, but the new X, I think, handles the volumes a little bit better. I think the bigger speaker, it just does it better at bigger sounds. The Positive Grid Spark Go, if I'm going to go to Guitar Center or something, I bring my little amp with me and it sits in the car or whatever, unless I'm really thinking about buying something, because I have sat here and it is so detailed in the app. I would sat there and built models that sound just like my Blackstar, especially if you're wearing headphones. And it's not kind of hard, a 12-inch speaker, a 40-watt tube amp is a little bit hard to capture inside of a positive or a small 2-inch speaker or 5 watts of power. But you know what I'm saying. Like I got as similar as I could at other people listen to verify. Like, yeah, you got that close. So yeah. So if I buy a guitar, I've got a little amp I can play around with in the car on the way home, or I can test it out in the store or whatever to kind of see, all right, well, my settings vibe with this thing. My tone, do I vibe with this guitar? Like, is it going to work out well? And that's the way I use it. Honestly, if you went to play both of these out, you probably could get by with it to an extent in smaller arrangements. I think the new X would probably be better for that than the Positive Grid Spark Go, but you could probably do some light busking in more small intimate situations with both. They're both intended to be small, portable, light practice amplifiers you can take anywhere, tour buses, small, one-on-one, like guitar lessons, that sort of thing. I think the Positive Grid Spark Go is a lot handier for that. Again, it is rechargeable, and yeah, we were just running off the wireless transmitters by Lekato for both of these. That's all I'm using because it's just easier for me that way. And if you do that, if you have everything charged and ready to go, you don't even need a cable. So that's pretty nice as positive grid spark go. And you can do that obviously with the new X if your battery power, if your batteries are good. Yeah, the real thing is these are considered desktop amps. They're great practice amps, guys. We're in a golden age of these little desktop practice amplifiers. I know this is a talking heavy video, but we did so much playing last week. I figured this week we really need to talk about this and really get into it. You're not going wrong no matter which path that you take, whether you're going Nux, Blackstar, positive grid. You know, there's Yamaha has entries, Vox has entries, Fender has entries. Everyone has one of these now. Boss Katana series has smaller versions. You can literally not go wrong. If you're just getting a headphone amplifier, which I meant to bring mine in here, but you know what it looks like. It's a little headphone plate. Things have gotten so much better than they used to be. You're not going wrong if you have one of these. If this is your amp at home, you're fine. Especially with all of these have headphone jacks. So you can literally just put in headphones and have all of these tones and pedals. You can if this is all you have, you can actually get into your apps and experiment with pedals and sound effects and learn this stuff. This is so much further beyond what I even had with my little 10 watts front end amplifier, my first guitar amp. This is so far and beyond that now. And these sound really good. Now, again, in a band mix, maybe not as great. It may not sound as great as like a traditional guitar amplifier, necessarily. I don't know how you would get by in a band mix with something like this. Probably not. But again, for solo busking and small, very intimate situations, I could possibly see this getting by. But it's really for practice, and if you've got this as a practice amp, you're in good. I mean, you are in a good spot with this. There's no issue with either of these. You're not going wrong. Tonally, again, I think the Nux handles the loud volumes better. As far as the interface, I like the positive grid spark go a little bit more. I think the app is more detailed, and I like the smaller streamlined settings, smaller streamlined build of the whole kit. And again, rechargeable is just nice. But if you don't like doing the apps and everything, you can get a lot of your same functionality with Nux just by using the top panel, which is really handy. So if you're not a big app person, you probably don't want to go with this positive grid spark go. Just get the Nux and you can just plug and play and adjust all on the top, which is very nice for a lot of people. Especially if you're newer, not to like all the tech, or that's a great way of. The Nux would probably be the better option for the smaller desktop amplifier. So just putting that out there. Again, you're not losing anything either way. Price-wise, I think the new Spark Go sounds great as is, too. I think, honestly, tone-wise, when you're just listening to them with my own effects or anything, I think the effects, honestly, for me, I think Positive Grid's effects are a little bit better, but Nux, the core tone, especially when you're trying to play loud, I think Nux maintains its core tone a little bit better, but I love how much I can go into Positive Grid and just edit and manipulate so much in the tone and the settings and the amplifier, and it's just so in-depth. And there's so much extended functionality with the backing tracks and everything. For me, it's really a toss-up. I cannot pick between the two. I think sound-wise, again, Nux probably handles louder volumes better and probably sounds a little bit better loud. Actually, it definitely sounds probably better loud because it seems like it's not farting out, whereas the Spark Go wants to. But you can activate dampening to get by. But I just really think you're not going wrong. For me, I use them for two separate things because they're both a good, convenient size. This is a legitimate, basically desktop bedside amplifier. This is a portable, but I'm just going out and hanging out with family or testing out a guitar or whatever type of thing. They're great, they're handy, you're not going wrong either way. I think tonally you can get there with either one, whichever sounds you're trying to pull out your head and play with. I think it's really going to come down to the individual, and I'm hoping I helped somebody with these two videos now find that sound they're looking for. Maybe one of these appealed more to you than the other. Again, these are just my own custom presets. A more one-to-one demo would be last week's video. In the description, I'll put the link so you can go back and watch that video too and see more one-to-one comparison, because I think that will help people decide which one they really want to go with. Things are expensive these days. It's just how it is. So, $100 isn't cheap. So if you're gonna drop $100 on a little amplifier, it better suit your purposes, right? So guys, overall, I hope this kind of you know, all these little amps are so good. You're not going wrong with anything. You can, if you're a bassist now, you have options. If you're an acoustic guitar player, you have options. If you're an electric guitar player, you have a ton of options. We're set. And whether you're going Blackstar, Positive Grid, Newegg, Fender, Vox, Yamaha, Boss, whoever you're going with, I don't think you're going wrong. I think you're getting good products these days for a really good price. Guys, I hope that this is a good guide for people trying to decide what they want and what works best for you. So yeah, anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching SlydeBytes. I appreciate all of you keep coming back. Please like and subscribe if you feel like I've earned it. I haven't earned it from you. That's a big deal to me, but it does go a long way to helping this little channel grow. And the more we grow, the more I feel justified in spending all my money on guitar stuff. Anyway, also, please check out SlydeBytes on TikTok and Instagram for more original guitar music. And also, eventually I will post again on the community page over here. So anyway, keep shredding, partners. I appreciate all of you. Thanks again. See you soon with more content. Always more in the works.